up, y'all? This your guy Q, and this is Topics from the Streets, where we keep our ears to the streets, our ears to the grind, and we're listening to what folks are talking about out there in the streets. We bring that info back here, then we discuss it to get a better understanding of it. Keep in mind though, this show right here is unscripted, unrehearsed, and unedited. That means you may hear something or see something that just might offend you, but you got the prerogative of hitting that little X button at the corner of the page and closing us out. But my question is, why would y'all do that? Because majority of you know you talk about the same things the same way I'm going to right here on this show. So why even get offended when I talk about it? On today's show, we're talking about women who hit men. It seems like a common thing now among some women feel like it's okay for them to put their hands on a man without the man retaliating back, okay? But we're gonna get into that later in the show. So what I want y'all to do is sit back and relax, strap on your seatbelts and get ready for the ride. Cause like my man MC Hammer would say, let's get it started. Let's go.
Megan!
Fuck you, you fucking...
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the show. Let's get this started. Now, a lot of you ain't gonna like today's topic, but it's okay, because a lot of you need to be in touch with reality. Now, I just showed you some TV skits of some women slapping and beating the hell out of some men. Now, if the tables were turned and I would have showed you some men beating the hell out of women, do you know what would happen? There would have been a complete backlash. There would have been the feminists would have came out the woodworks trying to do everything they can to get those particular shows showing those men beating those women yanked off the air. Now, what about using that same energy to have those shows yanked out the air because those women are hitting those men? It ain't gonna happen. Why? Because society has gotten us so conditioned to accept one thing and to condemn the other. It's okay for the woman to hit the man, but the man can't hit the woman. Because we are historically known as men to be strong, powerful, and we're supposed to take everything. We're supposed to jump in front of the bullet, jump in front of the car, everything to protect that woman. A woman is known to be weaker than a man. But let me correct you and give you a reality check out there if you don't understand it. There are some women out there like my mother that will whoop your ass as strong as men, okay? And there's some women out there right now that are so vindictive, that got a chip on their shoulder, they would do things just to get that man arrested. Now, the women I know ain't gonna put their hands on no man. But there are women out there that I don't know that would do it. Now, there's some women, now I don't know if you ain't seen it on TV and read it in newspapers and seen it in movies and heard it on the news, but there are women out there who will purposely scar themselves up, beat themselves up, whatever, to make it look like they've been physically abused by the man to get him arrested because she's got what? A chip on her shoulder. Now, how many times have I watched the show Cops and seen some episode where a woman called the police and said she was physically abused by the man and he said he didn't do it? The cop did not believe that man. But when the witnesses stepped up and said that no, she did it to herself, I was there, blah, 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 then they believe. But why not believe the man in the beginning? Why? It's because it's historically known that the man is strong and the woman's not gonna put her hands on the man. It's like we can't accept the fact that a man can put his hands on a woman, but we can accept the opposite. Now, you remember this Ray Rice video, okay? He knocked his girlfriend out, then fiance at that time, in the elevator, knocked her completely out. It really put a knot in my stomach. I was sick to my stomach when I saw it. All right, then there was a second part. They showed him getting into the elevator. It was a little bit intoxicating, and she put her hands on him. She kept hitting him, and then he knocked out. Now, I'm not saying it's okay for him to do that. No, I feel like, brother, you a football player. You got more strength than her. You could have pinned her down some kind of way. But women, you got to understand one thing. There are some men out there who ain't gonna let you put your hands on them. They don't care about the law. They're gonna knock your ass out, and you need to accept that. See, there's a thing called being provoked, okay? Now, some women will provoke you just to get you to react so they know you're gonna go to jail. They know it. Now, there's an ESPN sports commentator named Stephen Smith. His show is called First Take, okay? And he made some comments about the Ray Rice situation, but he made some other comments that got him suspended. Then he came back later and apologized, okay? I'm gonna let you hear the comments yourself, and I'll be right back. Check this out.
About you, and here's what I mean by that. We keep talking about the guys. We know you have no business putting your hands on a woman. I don't know how many times I gotta reiterate that. But as a man who was raised by women, see, I know what I'm gonna do if somebody touches a female member of my family. I know what I'm gonna do. I know what my boys are gonna do. I know what I'm gonna have to remind myself that I work for the worldwide leader. I'm gonna have to get law enforcement officials involved because of what I'm gonna be tempted to do. But what I've tried to employ the female members of my family, some of who you all met and talked to and what have you, is that, again, and this is what I've done this all my life, let's make sure we don't do anything to provoke wrong actions. Because if I come or somebody else come, whether it's law enforcement officials, your brother, or the fellas that you know, if we come after somebody has put their hands on you, it doesn't negate the fact that they already put their hands on you. So let's try to make sure that we can do our part in making sure that that doesn't happen. Now, you got some dudes that are just horrible, and they're going to do it anyway. And there's never an excuse to put your hands on a woman. But domestic violence or you know, or whatever the case may be, with men putting their hands on women is obviously a very real issue in our society. And I think that just talking about what guys shouldn't do, we got to also make sure that you can do your part to do whatever you can do to try to make sure it doesn't happen. We know they're wrong. We know they're criminal. We know they probably deserve to be in jail. In Ray Rice's case, he probably deserves more than the 2-game suspension, which we both acknowledged. But at the same time, we also have to make sure that we learn as much as we can about elements of provocation. Not that there's real provocation, but the elements of provocation, you got to make sure that you address it, because what we've got to do is do what we can to try to prevent the situation from happening in any way. And I don't think that's broached enough.
Now, I don't know what y'all got from Stephen Smith's comments, but what I got, and I'm not defending him because he's a man, but what I heard is a man attacking the situation and not one particular person. See, I think he was trying to tell y'all is that this is a learnable and teachable situation for all of us. But if you provoke somebody by putting your hands on them, you better expect that same person to come at you the exact same way. He's basically telling you, don't put your hands on no man, don't put your hands on no woman. ESPN suspends him, all these feminists get involved. Well, let me tell you this, ESPN and all you feminists. The next time a woman commentator says it's okay for a woman to hit a man, you need to suspend her. Treat her the exact same way you did Stephen Smith. Now, Whoopi Goldberg was on her show The View trying to explain the situation, but some of her fellow cast members did not like what she said, and you know Whoopi, she doesn't care, and I agree with her. There's some things I don't care what you got to say about me or about my comments, because it's just that, my comments. But the reality is just that. So she tried to explain the situation, and some of them didn't like it, but one particular person said no matter what, a man is not supposed to put his hands on a woman. Okay? Somebody needs to defend the man in this situation. And that's what Whoopi was trying to tell y'all. Don't put your hands on no man. And if you do, you need to expect that man to hit you back. Check out what Whoopi had to say on her show, The View.
Our friend Stephen A. Smith, he's going to be addressing some comments that he made on Friday regarding NFL player Ray Rice's 2-game suspension for allegedly knocking out his fiance. Now, Smith basically said no man should ever hit a woman, but a woman should learn how to avoid provoking a man's anger. Now, some people are outraged, and let me just point out that the comment that he made is based on what the young lady said she did. Let me just make that clear to y'all. She said, I hit him, and I believe that's what Stephen is pointing. I just want to say,
for a man,
yes,
hitting a woman unless his life is in jeopardy.
No, I'm sorry.
He knocked her out. He knocked her out.
Listen, I'm sorry. If you hit somebody, you cannot be sure you are not going to get hit back. Because no. Oh yes, baby. You have to teach women. You have to teach women. Do not put your hands on anybody. Do not. Let me just finish my point, because I know I'm going to catch a lot of hell, and I don't care. But you have to teach women Do not live with this idea that men have the chivalry thing still with them.
Right.
Don't assume that that's still in place.
Right. When it comes to physical strength, they're not equal. When it comes to physical strength, they're not equal. You know what? Then teach.
It's the man.
Teach
If
the
you're
son.
concerned, listen. Men have already been taught.
No circumstance to hit a girl unless your life is engaged.
I'm sorry.
I've tried a lot of domestic violence cases.
No one-
Men cannot hit women. Period.
Then you have to teach the women not to put their hands up on anybody.
Victim. That's blame the victim.
No,
though.
that's, oh my God, that is not blame the victim. I just said don't anybody hit anybody. Don't hit anybody. But if you make the choice as a woman who's 4'3" and you decide to hit a guy who's 6 foot tall and you're the last thing he wants to deal with that day and he hits you back, you cannot be surprised. Let's not hit anyone.
in the jail.
Let me tell you what makes me sick about that video. Whoopi trying to make a good point, but it seemed like the other women was basically saying it's okay for the woman to hit the man, but the man cannot hit the woman. He needs to go to jail. They bluntly are saying you do not put your hands on no girl, period. Okay, now what about telling that woman the same thing? You do not put your hands on no man, period. It's almost like they condone it. They saying it's okay because they're females. Okay? Now, I'm not defending the men because I am a man. Okay? But there are women out there who agree exactly the way I do and other people do. Okay? Women do not put their hand on men's, period. And if you do, you need to expect your ass to get hit. Okay? If you pull a gun or a knife on a man, you better expect that man to take you out because you're, coming at him in a physically and a threatening way with the gun and the knife. Okay? Now, if you don't believe me, I always like to give a little bit of proof. Alright? Here's a couple of videos of some women who are defending the men but trying to let you women know. Do not put your hands on a man. And if you do, expect the outcome to be your ass getting whipped. Check the videos out.
Me personally, I think if a woman is woman enough to hit a man, the man should be obligated to hit her back. Like, if you don't want to get hit or knocked on your butt, you shouldn't touch a man if you don't want to get knocked out. Like, I wouldn't try to fight a man personally because I know I won't win. Because a lot of women think that, oh, I'm going to abuse him and all that stuff. He won't do nothing to me. But you can't think that way. And as soon as the man hit the woman, it's assault. Well, what about the woman hitting the man? That's assault as well. Like, I don't get it. Man, if I was a man, some woman hit me, I'm hitting you back. I don't know, mama said knock you out. Like, whoever hit you, hit them back. It don't matter if you man, woman, transgender, heterosexual, bisexual, trisexual, whatever you are, I'm still hitting you back. Like,
I do feel like in a lot of cases, females do provoke men. And I'm sure we can think of a lot of celebrities who have been embroiled in domestic violence with their significant other. And in some of those cases, I feel like the women have provoked the men. And I'm not condoning this behavior at all. I'm not saying men should hit women or men are justified. But I'm just saying don't hit men, don't provoke men. Because there is a high probability that they will hit you back.
Up to 26% of homosexual men, 29% of straight men, and 39% of bisexual men have reported being victims of domestic violence. Even more men, up to 48%, experience psychological and emotional abuse at the hands of their partners. Men who are in relationships also have trouble seeing that they are being abused because they are conditioned from the time they are little boys to be tough, to minimize their fears, and to play a role that is based on a false construct of self-sacrifice as the right thing to do. Now, we all seen the Chris Brown Rihanna situation. We saw when Solange Knowles attacked Jay-Z in the hotel elevator. Now, right is right, wrong is wrong. We shouldn't publicize something on TV and make it look like it's okay to do, then criminalize another situation when it's similar to what we're showing on TV. See, that's some lines you just don't cross. Ladies, if a man is walking away from you, he has not touched you, he's telling you do not put your hands on him, and you continuously going after him, getting his face and pushing his face or grabbing him and doing all that stuff, and he turns around and smacks the hell out of you, that's something you deserve. Fellas, if a woman is walking away from you and she telling you don't cross that line and you grabbing her and you constantly putting your finger in her face and you touching her or whatever and she tells you not to, then she pulls out a knife or a gun on you and then hurts you or something like that, then you deserve what you get. See, the victim is both parties. We need to be even on both sides. Do not put your hands on anybody. There's a thing on the book called assault and battery, okay? That is my moral of the story, y'all. Keep your hands off each other, but women, do not get upset if the man turns around and knocks the hell out of you because you put him in a situation where he's got to defend himself. Now, I don't care about the feminists and people getting mad and all this kind of stuff because they put out on TV, everything you see is a woman is smacking and beating the hell out of a man, but if the man does it on TV, there's going to be some backlash. How fair is that? That is double standard, okay? So bottom line and point blank, keep your hands off each other. Do not touch each other and you won't have no problem. But if you decide that you want to cross that line and hit that man or hit that woman, they did not touch you, then you're going to pay the price and you need to get what you deserve. This has been Topics from the Streets. If you got a topic you want us to talk about, just hit us up. Facebook, Carolina Streets TV, Twitter, TV_Streets, our Instagram at Carolina Streets TV, or you can hit us up right here on YouTube and subscribe to us and be alerted when a new show has posted. This is your man Q. Y'all take care of yourself. We'll holler at you next time. Peace.